Over the past 13 years, I've run a video production company that's accrued millions in views, had Emmy-nominated work, and collaborated with some of the biggest clients in the game.
In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my top tips and tricks on how to run a successful video production company so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. Let's dive in. First up, pre-production. Most clients need to be educated on the filmmaking process because they don't know what you need in order to be successful. Iteration is a helpful part of the pre-production process. You want to write down your ideas, leave them for a bit, come back to them the next day and see if you actually still feel good about them. You need to avoid scope creep. You need to set clear expectations for the client so that they know how much work you're going to do, for how much money they're going to pay you. You need a contract. Yes, even if it's with friends. I've actually done work for people before without having a contract and ultimately got screwed out of money. I don't know why, but clients love filming interviews in conference rooms. Over the last 8 years, I've actually made a PDF that tells clients like everything I need, what goes through my mind, what is ideal. It's in the link below, download it, it's a template, put your name on it, whatever, send it to people, avoid the problems that I have faced so many times. You need to set realistic production schedules. A lot of time and effort goes into a production day, whether you're lighting a product or actually conducting interviews, and that time slips away real quick. It may seem like a nuisance to fully explain your idea to your client, but doing so up front will actually mitigate a lot of potential confusion down the road. Set a clear workback schedule so that you and your team can hit deadlines. 1 hour of pre-production saves 3 hours in post-production. Do it. Do it. It's important. Pre-production is important. Oh yeah. Next up, production. Create a checklist of all the gear that you need for the shoot and prep it the night before. Dress for the work you want, not the work you have. Story is king. Cameras will change. Stories will stay forever. Interviewing is an art form. Again, check out the links below. I have an article that literally goes into detail of how to get juicy answers from everyone. Just do it. It's good. It's free. Do not be the camera operator and the interviewer. I promise you it's not going to go well and you're not going to get the same content as if you actually have 2 dedicated people. Invest in a solid multi-purpose lens. Figure out what type of work you want to specialize in and find a lens that works well for you. Sometimes it's cheaper to rent than to own. For example, the Otis Zeiss 85mm 1.4 lens, ooh, gear jargon, is really nice. It's also $4,500, but I can rent it for only $40 a day, which means I would have to rent it 113 times in order to pay for it. Doesn't make sense for me to buy it. On the other hand, the Ronin M costs roughly $900 brand new to buy, and it actually costs $125 a day to rent, which means I'd only have to rent it for 7 days in order to actually own my own. So I bought it. Over the next 2 years, I used it roughly 60 times, which means if I rented it every single time, I could own 8 Ronin M's by now. It's also really helpful to own gear because you get a certain sense of familiarity with it, and in the Ronin's case, I'd have to calibrate it for the weight of my camera and lens every single time, which is way too much time and effort. Always look up gear reviews before you commit to anything. For example, the Rokinon 135 is one of my favorite portrait lenses and is actually half the price of the Canon 135, and on reviews, it's the same quality. Gaff tape is amazing. It's strong, durable, and it doesn't leave the sticky residue that duct tape leaves. Always bring an extra sandbag. They are always used and you always need more. Plus, you always need spare batteries because batteries die.
That was so good. Every one of those slides was like right into your hands.
Should we even do it again?
No.
It was so good. It was so good. Audio quality matters more than you think. From the beginning, we bought a really nice microphone. And it changed everything. How weird was that? Gear adds up. Over the years, we've bought over $30,000 worth of it. Myth: you don't need to live in LA to work on some great sets. There is a lot of production jargon tossed around. Don't be afraid to clarify. Hey, can you walk in that key with CTO so we can stop down and make things warmer? Filming in 4K doesn't automatically make it a good video. Lighting is critical and can make or break a production. Always bring an extra shirt and deodorant. And deodorant. And deodorant. And deodorant. And deodorant. And deodorant. You never know when you're gonna need it. Get insurance. Gear can break and you don't want to get screwed. Plus, a lot of larger companies are going to require you to have liability insurance. Halfway through, hang in there. Create a checklist of all the gear that you need for the shoot and prep it the night before. Lay out clear roles for everyone at the beginning of the project. Always buy the crew food. It's so cheap in the scheme of things and it makes for a great impression. If you're going long distances, reimburse the crew for travel. It's really not that expensive per mile and it gets you a lot of respect. And the final stage of actually making the content, post-production. Edit while the content is fresh in your mind. It's so much easier. Back up your projects on at least 2 hard drives. I had a hard drive stolen once, but I had a backup, so I was fine. Finding the right music can be exhausting. Stop spending hours and hours of your time scouring $20 sites to find music like this, when you could save a ton of time and energy and actually have music that you really love in a piece, like this. Edit with a platform in mind. Instagram is not the same as a TV. Investing in a nice computer is well worth it. It saves you time in importing, the actual editing, and export, and all of that adds up. Can't afford a fancy computer? Proxy all your files. Whether or not you have a nice computer, it's going to be easier to edit. Maybe I'll just like cut the audio there and I'll just like do closed captions. Organize your folders and your project. It's going to make a world of difference, especially if you're working on a team. Sometimes you're gonna have to balance being the creative and actually delivering content on time. What about the part of things where you actually have to run a business? Take time to determine where you want to go as a company. Find your niche client. It will help you get further, faster. There are a lot of content creators out there, which means you need to figure out what sets you apart from the competition. You need to create first, differently, or best. Get a business license. Being filed as an LLC will help larger organizations recognize you as a legitimate partner, plus it'll help protect you legally. If you're sued as an LLC, they can take away your cameras, your lights, your computers, the things that the LLC owns. But they can't sue you for personal property like your car, your dog, or your really cool lightsaber. Set goals that are measurable. Yes, we're creatives, but we're also running a company and we need to pay our bills. Follow up with those goals. Goals without timelines are just lofty dreams that often never happen. Chase work you're genuinely interested in. It's going to make your work so much more fulfilling. Put time and energy into making a solid reel, but realize that at the end of the day, people hire you for your reputation, not just your skill set. Set up clear branding guidelines for your company. You expect your clients to have them, so you should too. Invest in a nice logo. It's your brand. Come up with your elevator pitch, then practice your elevator pitch. It genuinely matters. Make a nice website. To be honest, very few people are going to check it out, but those very few people are people that are going to pay you a lot of money to make really cool content. A strong social media presence can be really valuable for a company, but it's not for every company, so figure out whether or not you want to be active on social media and commit to it. While you're creating all your content, don't forget to tell your own story. Our whole industry is based off of people wanting you because they see what kind of cool content you're making, so it's really valuable. Create content just for fun. Projects with fewer restrictive parameters are honestly how I creatively grow. Cheap, quick, or quality. Your client can only have 2 of those. You have to go to networking events, and at those networking events, you do actually have to talk to people because that's how you get work. Then, nurture that relationship. Grab coffee or tea with them. If you want to be hired as a camera operator, a producer, a director, determine who's most likely to hire you. This may be a production company or internal production team. Then determine who in those organizations needs to know who you are. For example, if you're a DP, then you're more likely being brought on by a director. Focus your networking energy on those people. Similarly, if you want to run your own production company like I've done, determine who is most likely to hire you. This is probably someone high up in the marketing department, and I personally reach these people through my blogging and LinkedIn. Realize that networking is a long-term game. It can take months or even years for a client to hire you. Practice writing strong emails. A big part of running a business is having really strong communication. Invest in nice business cards. It's really not that expensive and it makes a huge difference. I'd rather spend $800 on an amazing DP that's going to ace the shots than spend $400 on a so-so DP that I'm gonna be worried about whether or not they're actually getting good content the whole time. Don't expect to make a lot of money off the bat. In the beginning, I worked 2 jobs so that I could pay rent. Make a 5-year plan. It's okay if your plan changes, but having a loose structure for your company's growth will immensely help when you're faced with seemingly tempting offers. There are 3 reasons why you should take on a project: for the portfolio, the money, or building a relationship. Your $500 client will almost never become a $5,000 client. Invest in nice headshots. It makes a world of difference. After taxes, overhead, gear, and hiring others, you're gonna realize that you need to charge more. Take taxes seriously. If you don't want to, hire someone to. It takes a lot of time and effort to master your craft. Malcolm Gladwell said 10,000 hours. That means you can't be a scriptwriter, a director, a cinematographer. You just can't master everything. So pick your battles. Recognize when you should hire a professional. I personally don't touch After Effects because I'll never be as good as the people that I pay to use After Effects. Invest in yourself. You are your most valuable asset. Being your own boss is great. You can do whatever you want. Being your own boss is terrible. You are on the line if something goes wrong. Leave work at work. After 5 p.m., I don't respond to emails unless there's a very big red flaming flag on it. Don't be afraid to take time off. We need to relax and decompress. Okay, we're really close to the end. Pay for Vimeo. It's actually not that expensive per year, and you can make private links and you can make them downloadable and password protected. It's just so much more professional than YouTube. Invest in a nice pair of shoes that you can wear to business meetings and on shoot days. Have a side hustle to bring in passive income. I personally sell stock footage. Finally, it's the general tips. It's everything I've learned over the last 8 years that aren't specifically related to a business and really don't relate to production either. When you find something you're passionate about, chase it. You and your ideas are way more valuable than any of your gear. Find a creative community, especially if you're a solopreneur. You need to find like-minded creatives that can give you feedback on your ideas. Don't measure yourself against others. We live in this toxic age of social media fake book and no one's perfect. Respect everyone, simply because you should as a human being, but also because you never know where your next break is going to come from. A strong story is way more valuable than beautiful visuals. It's always a reminder to me that one of my company's first projects really wasn't visually that great. It wasn't our best, but the story was super strong and relatable, and because of that, it got 20 million plus views. Understand that a high view count does not mean everything. When I release this type of content for my personal brand, I want the right 100 set of eyes watching it, not the wrong 100,000. Seek out opportunities to collaborate with others that have more experience than you. Some of my quickest learning periods are actually when I'm shadowing someone that is way above me. Listen to podcasts. They're a great example of storytelling, plus they're a passive way of learning. Some of my favorites are Startup, Without Fail, and The Wandering DP. Assume the best of intentions. Even the nicest people have bad days. Don't be afraid to admit that you don't have all the answers. I would way rather work with someone that can admit those shortcomings than work with someone that's pretending that they know everything. If you don't love what you do, change it. Embracing big picture change can put you in control of your narrative. Something you want to say? Change is mandatory. Growth is optional. I always hate thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And if you have any tips and tricks that I missed out on, comment them. Other people need to know. I've also, in the link below, included all of the resources that I mentioned in this video. Have a great rest of your day. See you next time.